Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm Steven. This is Northwest Small Batch Brewing, and we're going to do a little brew talk today about a topic that comes up, and it's a strange topic, I think, for beer, but it does come up, and people are confused about it, so I thought it'd be worth throwing out there what I know about it, and that is methanol. Methanol in your beer. It comes up a lot during cider season, because there's methanol in apple cider, different ciders. And so it comes up where people get worried about it. So methanol. So basically what you're going to find in any kind of homebrew, not so much beer, mostly in like ciders and wines and stuff like that, is going to be ethanol, which is your clean alcohol. Cheers, by the way. And then you're going to have methanol. And methanol is produced with the inclusion of pectin in your brew. So here's the interesting thing. Methanol is found even outside of alcohol. So apple juice has a lot of methanol in it. Well, okay, not methanol, but the precursor to methanol, because there's not alcohol in apple juice, but the same ingredient, right, from the pectin and from the skins of the fruit. And what happens is it produces what we commonly call a hangover, right? Strangely enough, if you drank like a half gallon or a gallon or whatever of apple juice, right, you're not going to get drunk because it's just juice, but it will give you that sort of hangover headache like that, and that's from the methanol. So when you're brewing beer, you get these fusels and methanol that is a small portion of what you're making, but it's diluted throughout the entire brew. There's not really anything you can do about it. You can't remove it, at least not if you're just making cider and beer, right? It's there. You can't really get rid of it. And it is what produces hangovers. And most likely, I don't know if you've noticed, but most likely you're going to find that wine and ciders and stuff like that are going to give you a worse hangover if you drink too much of it than a beer would give you. Most beers. Remember, beer, unless it's like a fruited beer or something, beer generally doesn't have pectin in it because you're making it from grain. So there's really not much methanol that would occur in a beer. So beer is going to give you less of a hangover. And whatever. So is methanol poison? Can it kill you? Can it make you blind? Not in beer, and not in cider, and not in wine. You're not able to, first of all, it's diluted within your beverage, and there's just no way you can consume enough of it. Your body's natural reaction to too much of this poison is to purge it, right? If you drink too much, you're going to vomit it out, and you're just not going to be able to, or you're going to pass out. The point is, you're not going to be able to consume enough for it to cause you to go blind or get, or die or whatever. It'll make you sick, but, we're not talking that dangerous. So what are people talking about? Well, they're more talking about, and I'm not going to go too much into this because it's kind of not really related to this brewing channel, but it has more to do with distilling, right? If you take that same cider and you distill it, you're now taking that same beverage and removing the water that was diluting a lot of that methanol, and now it's condensed. Now it's a different story because you can drink a much higher alcohol volume at a much faster rate before your body has a chance to metabolize it and purge it, and now you can have way too much methanol. Again, unless it was distilled really poorly, you're probably not going to die or go blind. You're just going to get very sick. Generally speaking, you want to, so what happens is in the liver, I'm not going to go into the medical details of this, but basically ethanol binds with methanol, so, and it purges through your body. So as long, that's one of the cures if you have methanol poisoning, is they actually need to have ethanol, like the good alcohol, along with it to bind with the methanol. Anyway, so I did write down how much methanol is a problem, right? And I'm talking about pure methanol. If you buy a bottle of distilled liquor of some kind, it's not going to be pure methanol. It's going to be a mix of things, including ethanol and fuels and different things. So if you have pure methanol, then like one shot glass worth of that, right? One shot glass, what is that, an ounce is a shot? That can kill you if it's pure methanol. And if you drink a quarter of that, so a quarter of a shot glass of pure methanol, it does have the potential to make you blind. Again, you can look up the details of that, but it affects the optic nerve. That's why it can make you go blind. So it sounds scary, but it can't happen to anybody just drinking your standard beers and wines and beverages. And in most cases, it's not going to happen if you're drinking store-bought alcohol that's like a hard liquor, because when you distill something, the alcohol comes off at different temperatures, right? So the first thing that's going to come off your still is methanol, and you're going to collect that. And you can, they've been doing this long enough. They know how much you want to collect and dump. You're still going to end up with some methanol in your product, but most of it is thrown out. You get rid of it. Or you save it for, you can use it to, clean your engines and stuff. But it's not for drinking. It's not for drinking for sure. It's definitely poison. Right? So that's removed. So when you buy something like whiskey or something off the shelf, alcohol off the shelf, it's been removed. The cheaper stuff will have more methanol in it and make you sicker, have worse hangovers, because they're trying to stretch their dollar and they're leaving more of it in. The really more expensive or primo stuff is going to have more of that removed because they want to focus on the flavor and the taste and remove that stuff that doesn't. Methanol, it smells and tastes like nail polish remover. It's not nice. It's not nice. But that's the deal, right? Is that you shouldn't worry about methanol. It's nothing you can do about it if you're making beer, wine, cider, etc. It's there. It is what it is, right? And you just have to move on. So I hope that helps. If you had any questions about methanol specifically, if it's something you need to worry about in your ciders and wines, and maybe that, just adds a little bit of knowledge, to why people think it's a concern, because they're really referring to the distilling world, not to our homebrewing, beer and wine world. Anyway, I'll be back in another week for another video. And until then, thanks for stopping by, and keep on brewing.